Hey y'all, I'm Shauna. Welcome in or welcome back to the channel and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to be doing another reaction video. A few weeks ago, I think about 2 weeks ago now, I made a reaction video to the Canadian reality TV show Till Death Do Us Part. After that show aired, there was a spin-off show called Princess, similar concept and hosted by Miss Gail Vaz-Oxlade. And we are going to be reacting to an episode of this show today. If you missed that first video, I'll link it in the cards. I think it was a fun time. So many of you enjoyed it. And I also heard so many of you saying, oh my God, do Princess, do Princess, do Princess. And I think I watched more episodes of Princess when I was younger than I did Till Death Do Us Part, because the show features young women. So the women in the show were closer to my age or had life circumstances that were more similar. If you've never seen the show before, here's what you're in for. The show focuses on young women, largely in their 20s. Some will be like in their early 30s, and women who have debt and are living beyond their means. With this group of people, there tends to be a lot of entitlement and focus on like appearance and image. Each episode usually has interactions with friends and families that are applicable. They kind of have like an intervention style moment at the beginning, and then the participant goes through 3 tasks. One of them, I think, is always the give back challenge, and then you get the end where if they kind of meet Gail's challenges and they have a good attitude about it, they get $5,000 to pay down their debt. So the episode we're about to watch is from season 2, which I believe is from 2010. And before we get started though, I want to say that I initially did not start with the Princess show. I went with Till Death Do Us Part because the concept of the show is great, but I really am not a fan of labeling these women as princess. And I think some of the ways that these women can be treated can be kind of misogynistic. And just like the term princess really feels rooted in misogyny. It's almost always applied to women. And when it is applied to men, it's feminizing men as an insult. Like, you are like a woman. So I haven't loved this show as much. Like last time, I've also chosen an episode that has largely positive elements to it. I think the Princess show is more split between people who are and who aren't successful, or I think there are more cases Till Death Do Us Part of people who aren't successful because of some of the entitlement that can come from the participants.
Meet Princess Rachel.
My name is Rachel. I'm 25 years old.
Rachel works sporadically in daycare and spends every cent at the mall.
I spend about 8 hours in a week shopping. If I see it and I like it, then I'll buy it.
She has multiple credit cards and she maxes them out.
Decline. Going to concerts, movies, going out for food, jewelry. People have suggested to me that I have a shopping addiction.
She'll go and buy concert tickets, and she hasn't paid us for the car.
The car isn't the only thing Rachel gets for free. Living at home means Mom is waiting on her hand and foot.
I do her laundry, I cook for her, I take care of her. It is hard for me to be tough because you always want to protect her children, right? That's her mother's job, is to protect her children, right?
But Rachel's not grateful. In fact, her petulant entitlement has reached outrageous heights.
Rachel tells us we should sell this house and move into a smaller house and get her an apartment, because that's what she's entitled to.
I think it's a great idea.
Rachel's full of great ideas. She dreams of heading to Teachers College, but without a full-time job, she depends on sub-in calls from local daycares. This means Rachel's only working a few hours a week.
Okay, so she thinks that her parents should sell their house and move into a smaller home to buy her a condo. That is some next level entitlement, to be honest. And I can understand her dad's frustration if he sees his daughter shopping and buying all of these things when he hasn't been paid back for the car. It sounds like the parents bought her a car but expected her to pay them back for it. This is the vibe that I am getting. I also want to know why we're only working part-time. What's the deal with that?
You're the girl who thinks that parents owe their children everything.
Yes.
But you're not actually a child anymore. I mean, you're 25 years old. You're a woman.
Mm-hmm.
How many months have you paid rent?
If I'm going to pay rent, then I'm not going to live at home.
What we're going to do is we're going to look at what some of your friends and family have to say about you.
Okay.
Let's see what Crystal has to say.
This isn't just, oh, I'm just going shopping. This is a habit. This is an addiction. I'm worried that when she does move out, she's not going to stop, but it's just going to keep going.
When you hear her saying the things she's saying, what do you think?
I think she's right. It's hard when someone tells you something bad about yourself.
Listen to some of what your dad has to say, okay?
All right.
She doesn't seem to realize that it costs money to live, and she's spending all her money right now on enjoying life.
I worked for my money, so I'm going to use it how I wish.
If you want to move out and be independent, how are you going to pay for it?
I'll be working.
But you're working now.
Right now, it's only part-time. It's not.
But that's your choice.
Yeah.
Get a full-time job.
It's really stressful to work.
Welcome to adulthood. Let's hear what your mom says.
It's hard because I love her and I love having her around, but when I think of it, it's not what you want to do for your adult children. You don't want to be cooking for them or cleaning for them. It's time they did that for themselves.
I can take care of myself.
How would you know that? You've never had to.
I want to say, Rachel, I love you, but you can't live at home forever. And if you keep spending like this, you're never going to be able to save any money to go out on your own.
What upsets you about that?
Kind of feel like I disappointed them a little bit. I just haven't been.
I think that her parents contribute to the sense of entitlement. If a child acts a certain way, we can't say that it's 100% of the time because of the parents. Family dynamics can have an impact on how children react and act in the world. In this case, the vibe I'm getting is that the parents have contributed to this idea that parents should pay for things. If her parents did buy her a car, I can see where she gets this idea that like parents should give all of these things to their kids. I definitely don't agree, but I don't think that this just like happened out of nowhere. I think there's more to this dynamic than what we're seeing here because something is not fully making sense to me. So she works part-time and she has said that that's a choice because she doesn't want to work full-time because it's stressful. So she has a lot of free time, likely more free time than her friends because they're very likely working full-time. I think a lot of people who are 25 are either in school for full-time or working full-time. That represents, I think, a large part of the population. Or perhaps somebody like could be married and like maybe a stay-at-home parent. I think that's possible for 25, although I think far less likely. So if she has all of this free time that allows her to go to the mall and I think treating shopping like a hobby. I don't know if she's addicted to shopping and the friend says, oh, I think she's addicted to shopping. I think this kind of, to me, it feels like it's being interchanged or maybe used kind of like, oh, you're a shopaholic. I think now the term shopping addict has far more weight and come with a specific set of meaning that it might not have in 2010. I can't be sure. And I also don't know from the information so far that she does have a shopping addiction. I think she has developed problematic shopping behavior or problematic habits that stem from the free time and like her parents and the family dynamic. This is my vibe so far. She could not shop this much if she worked full time and also wasn't enabled by her parents. Like her parents totally contribute. So that's the vibe so far, but I could change my mind as we get more info.
Such a good person to my parents.
It boils down to whether you are going to pick up the reins of your life and actually make something of Rachel. The next thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you the numbers so you can see the black and white of it.
Okay.
I have your mom and your dad here because I think it's really important that we all get on the same page. One of the big mistakes that parents make is that they let their children bring home their paychecks and they let them keep it as disposable income. Let's look at the numbers so you can actually see what's been going on. You're saving nothing.
Okay, so Gail overall is a fan of when adult children live at home, they pay their parents rent because of what she's saying, that children, and she said in multiple episodes, we're just not seeing it here, that children will never have this disposable income again in their life. And so parents could be setting their children up for failure if they don't do those kinds of things. I agree with her to an extent, but I don't fully agree with her. I don't think that simply because an adult child lives at home that the parent should inherently take rent from the child. Gail's coming from this largely from a helping a child for the future perspective. And so I'm going to kind of talk about it in that perspective as well. There are young people, young adults who are good with their money and are saving their money. Or let's say they're contributing to their own education, or they're putting their money away for the future, or both, and they're also paying their bills. Like maybe they have car bills and they're paying with them. I don't necessarily think that is a problem. And if a parent allows the child to keep all of their money and they are being financially responsible for them, like that is very much a privilege and a way for a child potentially to like have the opportunity to save their money. As Gail has mentioned, they won't have this opportunity again to have as low of expenses, again in their life. So if the child is saving, then they could be saving for important things that matter to them that will be more difficult or more challenging for the future. With that said, if you are with a child who is spending all of their money and also getting into debt, the home environment and having little to no expenses enables that kind of behavior and is not helpful in this circumstance. I don't think parents are in the wrong as well to ask their child to contribute to the household. I don't think there's anything wrong with that either. I think it's more of a circumstance should impact how things go, both like the family's income, what they're making, what the child makes, what's going on in that circumstance, opposed to just it always should be this way or that way. I do think as a parent, if I had a child living under my roof who was working full-time, who was making good money, but was choosing to spend all of their money and like contributed nothing to the household, I could see feeling like you're being taken advantage of or being taken for granted.
You keep talking about this fact that you want to be independent, you want to go out on your own. What are you doing in terms of taking steps to get to where you want to go next?
Nothing.
Rachel is only spending about $460 a month on her needs. So she isn't in any way self-sufficient. And this debt repayment amount?
That's high.
Yeah. It's because you have so much debt. $24,000.
Just seeing that number, that was too much.
You are spending 101% of your income on wants. Hello.
I didn't know it was that much.
When I saw the numbers, I wasn't surprised. I know she spends a lot of money.
Here's your spending for 1 month. Clothes on the 1st and the 1st, and in a restaurant on the 1st and the 1st and the 1st and on the 2nd, and more clothes on the 4th, and some entertainment and in a restaurant, and some clothes and some clothes and some clothes and some online shopping. This is all want. None of this is need. Almost $1,500 on pure self-indulgence. What she's doing is she's using shopping to make herself feel better because she doesn't have a life.
It reinforced what I thought, that Rachel just doesn't see what she's spending.
We're earning $19.91 a month, which...
So if she is spending to feel better about herself, I think that's an indicator she may have a shopping addiction. Again, we can't say for certain. I think also there is some willful negligence here. I think in a lot of these shows, there is willful negligence. People don't want to know, and their habits are serving them to an extent that they are getting some of the like emotional outlet that they're looking for, even though it's not the resolution. They're getting some kind of temporary help, and so they continue doing it. So it's serving them in that way. To get into $24,000 of debt, I think does require some willful negligence. You don't want to do it. You don't want to look at it because you want to keep going with the behavior that you have. You want to keep doing what you're doing.
We talked about $27,500 a year gross. To live the way you are currently living, you would have to be making an income of $43,000 a year gross. And to live the way you're living right now and get your debt paid off, you'd have to make $56,000 a year.
That makes me feel sad and broke.
So I need your commitment. Will you promise me that you will keep your hands out of your pocket and you will let her grow over the next 4 weeks?
Good alter.
Promise? Promise? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's hard to choke it out, Debbie? Listen, I get this, okay? You want to do everything for your kids. Right now, she is neither happy nor independent. This is about taking control of your money and your life. I'm going to give you a series of challenges to do over the next few weeks. You do the challenges to my satisfaction. I'll give you up to $5,000 to help you pay down this debt. You don't do the challenges, you don't get the money. If you have the wrong attitude, you don't get the money. So over the next few weeks, there are a few things we're going to do. We're going to try and make you into an independent woman. We're going to get you to face your financial reality. And we're going to get you to stop being quite so wasteful and recognize the value in some of the things that you have. Now go get your cards. You're going on a cash debt. Rachel is a 25-year-old princess who expects it all.
I think that my parents should provide a house, a car, and a computer for me because it's their job.
Still living at home, she barely works while mommy and daddy keep her in the lap of luxury.
Last year she went.
I'm getting the vibe that she thinks her parents should provide these things for her because if her parents do that, then she can keep spending how she's spending. And she doesn't have to do it for herself.
On 5 trips.
Yeah, I've been to Cuba 3 times.
5 trips.
But their
in a year?
handouts and overprotective hovering have stunted Rachel's development.
I'm hurting her. I'm not helping her, right? By doing all these things for her, I'm not teaching her to be independent.
I told her friends and family to stop enabling her. But her mother doesn't think this is the right time to cut Rachel off.
I'll give her 6 months to straighten up her act. We'll give her another year, so maybe after she's done school, so maybe give her another year or 2.
What does she mean? I disagree with the mom. I agree with Gail that it's never a wrong time to sort out your finances. And I think the younger, the better. And also her being in school is not a problem. If things are financially tight, that is when you don't want to be doing the excess shopping. She's also not in school yet. Teaching her some of these skills before she gets into school, before things become even tighter, is going to be more important.
I don't need a year. I'm only giving Rachel 4 weeks to grow
Gail's
up.
so sassy.
And if she succeeds, I'll give her up to $5,000 to put a dent in that debt. Do you have your cards?
I do.
Give me those. And you get $50 a week.
Wow.
$50 worth for food and what else?
Basically, it's food and entertainment.
I'm not scared for me, I'm scared for Rachel. Hope she can survive on that.
And so we come to your first challenge, which is your Get Real challenge. I have for you keys to your...
Did anybody else find the mom's comment kind of odd? Like, I hope she can survive on that. Girl, it's 2010. She can survive on that. You need to be supportive. That's not the kind of supportive messaging that I think she needs.
Your own place. It's not fancy. It's shared accommodation. You get a little fridge and you share a stove, and that's what you can afford right now.
I don't know, this is not how I wanted to see her living on her own.
What do you need?
You also don't have your car anymore.
Really, she does need her car.
She can't afford her car and have a roof over her head and buy her own food and save some money for the future.
That's what
So
parents are
sometimes it's choice. No, it's not what parents are for. Debbie, you did your job.
Okay.
She's 25. Let her go. I'm sensing that this might be more of a challenge for Rachel's mom than for Rachel.
I'm just going to stay out of it and let Rachel do it. So Rachel has to do what she has to do. I'm not going to interfere.
How much did you make last week?
I don't believe the mom. The mom, we're getting a clear picture. The mom is an enabler. The mom said that is what parents are for. I think she has contributed to Rachel's belief that parents are supposed to provide all of these things for her kids. The mom at the beginning of the show said that like she cooks and she cleans. She doesn't want to do that anymore. I think she said that for the show because here, when she's confronted by reality, she's saying that's what parents are for. It's my job to provide all the things I can for my child. No, parents are not there to buy houses and cars and all of this stuff for their kids. The mom's attitude kind of sucks. And I don't think she's going to stay out of it.
She gets unemployment as well.
What? Stop answering for her. You are not her mouth.
Okay.
How much did you make last week?
I'm not sure.
You know what, Rachel? You go home and figure it out. Okay? You can't have the car. You're moving into the homestay. You're going to do a budget. You're going to do our debt repayment plan. This is 4 weeks. Let's see what you're made of.
All right. They all seem to think that I can't. So I'm going to show them that I can, and then they'll be so proud. Ready to leave.
You need help?
No, I don't need your help.
Rachel's excited about heading out on her own,
Mom's
even if it's only half an hour away. Mummy Dearest, on the other hand,
Goodbye. Take care. Goodbye.
It's not like I'm traveling to Australia.
I know. Drive carefully, Crystal. What can I say? I'm going to miss her even though she's rude to me. I'm going to miss her.
I love it.
Sweet. It's a cute little room.
It's so
shared
cute.
accommodation might not be a princess's dream, but it's what Rachel can afford on her part-time income.
I'm all by myself, which is exciting, but also scary. I'll just sleep with the light on.
She survived without her car. She kept up her fair share of the household
Look at her.
responsibilities.
I don't know how to turn it on.
How do you like living on your own?
I do, I like it. Just having my own freedom, and I don't need to answer to anybody.
Maybe it's the fact that your mother's not nagging your pants off.
Maybe.
Are you determined then to find a way to move out on your own?
Very. Well, I got a job. It's going to be full-time.
That's fabulous.
Thank you.
Rachel wants to move out and getting
She
a full...
is doing so well so far. I think she is the kind of person who needed the kick in the pants. And I think that it's, to me, what it's showing is that the family dynamic is part of enabling her habits. She rose to this challenge. She moved out and she took care of all of the chores, like you're supposed to do. I was maybe not sure that she would because she had an entitled attitude, but when she was away from the family, she didn't say like, oh, this is beneath me or I can't do it. She did it. I think she's been looking forward to living out on her own and getting the independence, and she seems to be doing so well, and I love this for her. She even went out and got a job, which I think Gail implied it, but also didn't say, go get a job right now. Sometimes with these challenges, you have contestants who won't do the thing unless they're being told. They'll meet only what they're asked of, and she saw that she needs more money or that she should have a full-time job, and she went and did it without it being part of the challenge. Good for her.
Full-time job is the first step. But without a deadline, her goal is just a dream. Time to nail down some details. This is your Set Goals Challenge. So I'm going to send you someone to tour you around and show you places you could live.
Okay.
And you can see what you could afford or what you may not be able to afford. Okay, you know what? Go do what you need to do. I'll see you next week. And make me proud, girl, because so far you are. Rachel wants to move out of the family nest, but she's getting some mixed messages from her parents.
At her age, some people are already out on their own. They own their own homes.
She's never going to be able to live on her own. She would not have any money to survive.
I think both of these parents are somewhat sure, some families, some women own their home at 25, but that is far less common. And then mom saying she can't do it, she's not going to have any money to survive. I do get the concern, but number one, she has a part-time job, not a full-time job. When she makes full-time money, it's going to be easier for her. But also, money to survive is not thousands of dollars a month on clothing and entertainment. She is not entitled to that, and not having that is not her struggling to survive. No, ma'am.
Challenge is designed to help her map out a plan. One of the 5 steps in goal setting is to identify people that can help you along the way. So this week I'm sending Rachel to meet up with a realtor.
She definitely is going to hit a reality check of what it costs to live in Toronto. I think she's going to have to go through credit check, employment letter. They're going to be picky actually about who they choose here.
Wow, very cute. My new dream apartment would be downtown, 2 bedrooms, a walk-in closet, a living room and dining room, place to park, a pool, and a gym, brand new.
Nice list. But what will it cost?
So this place has everything. How much is it to rent?
That would go for about $1,700.
I think I'm gonna have to revise my dream list.
With a
For context, 2-bedroom rental in downtown Toronto would probably start today. 28 would be very conservative, probably more like 32. Would like really depend on the location.
For more perspective, Rachel headed off to see something closer to her price range.
I'm a little bit scared to see what kind of apartment I can actually afford. Bars on the window. Oh, wow. It's very different from the first place.
For a basement apartment, this isn't bad.
I've seen a lot worse.
Exactly. I just prefer something more new and not a basement.
But like, what's wrong with the basement? Are you too good for a basement? Is that what's happening here? You need to be more realistic of what
like
$700 is.
I think her friend is like a really great person to have in your corner and does help give her a reality check. Number one. And number two, I think she is so used to living with her parents and the standard of living that a detached, multi-bedroom, single-family home gives. Like, it has diluted her sense of reality. And I think a reality check is excellent because you can't afford to live like your parents when you didn't buy your home when your parents did and when you don't make as much money as your parents do.
Gonna get you.
We could always keep looking. I'm sure there's more.
The expert that I sent to take you around thinks that you're living in La La Land because you are totally unrealistic about what things should cost.
I don't think it's bad to want what I want.
Right?
I just realized that it's expensive to want all those things.
In other words, you can't have what your parents have until you've worked as long as your parents have and are making the money your parents are making, right?
Right.
Right.
If they wanted to buy me an apartment.
I'm not going to bang my head against this wall anymore because I'm starting to get a headache. So the next thing we're going to talk about is this obsession you have with buying stuff and then just wasting that money by giving it away or throwing it away.
Okay.
Before meeting me, Rachel spent nearly $900 a month on clothes. And her bedroom is full of the evidence. So now we come to your next challenge, which is your Give Back Challenge. You have a lot of stuff. This week's challenge is all about learning to appreciate what you have. In this challenge, Princess has to give back to her community. So Rachel's going to donate her clothes and her time to a local.
Why is she walking on the gardener with the big trash can in her hands? Like, what?
Charity. We'll see if she learns to appreciate what she has.
She was saying that she had donated a lot of times, but she had no idea what happened to the donations afterwards.
Rachel brought in a bag of brand new and barely worn items, figuring the charity would be able to make several $100s by selling them.
Look at that, they still have the tags on them.
I think I only wore this a couple times. It makes me feel good to know that somebody who needs them will be able to use it.
Take textile, put it in the textile bin. Accessories, shoes, media. The rest of them are labeled on the wall.
People working here don't have as much as I do, so it's interesting to hear their stories.
I think she's starting to realize now, not everybody has money just to throw away. She thought she was going to get $250, $300 for all the clothes.
$9, 3, 6, 9. 15.
Ended up that she was going to get $50 for all of them when it gets sold in here.
They made me think about my life and that I'm really lucky. So it makes me appreciate more what I have.
It seems that she really liked that challenge and it really kind of spoke to her, which is great. She said that she heard or she spoke to other employees and heard their stories. We don't see any of that. So I mean, it's probably good that they were able to have those conversations in private. It seemed to resonate with her that she's being wasteful with her stuff and that not everybody can afford to shop the way that she does. Even though she's incurring debt, there is still privilege with being able to have a bank account and a credit card all together. There is a lot of privilege in not having to work a full-time job. She could have worked a part-time job for years if she spent within her means and not incurred debt because she's living with her parents. Many people do not have resources like that, and I think she realized this, which is wonderful.
Come a long way, but how far have her parents come? I decided to check in with them. I wanted to have a quick word with you because there's something I need to talk to you about with regard to Rachel, okay? She is stagnating where she is. You're stifling her. You're holding her down.
I don't think she's out of the ordinary.
I will beg to differ with you, okay? I am going to encourage her to move out on her own. to hold her home serves your needs, does not serve Rachel's
What about her
needs.
schooling?
Rachel can actually work and go to school at the same time.
And move out? How's she going to do that? Like, she did the numbers and it didn't work out, so.
I'm not in the least bit surprised to hear you say that it'll never work out for
I
her.
didn't say it'll never work. I said it didn't.
You want Rachel to stay home. I know you do, because you're putting up all the barriers that would encourage her to stay home.
Living at home, you can be independent and live at home as well. So.
I don't believe she can. I don't think you'll let her.
I will let her.
Yeah, I don't think that's true.
And when she gets in debt, she's going to come to you for money, okay?
I'm very sorry.
Okay, so am I.
My challenges have definitely...
The mom's attitude is definitely not great. She's struggling with her daughter moving out. She's had, I feel like, a codependent relationship with her child. And maybe I shouldn't use that because I am not a clinician who can say those things. But she definitely has an unhealthy relationship with her child and really wants her child to stay home because it would benefit the mom and not the child. Like, Rachel has been thriving on her own. She has been taking all of this in stride. One of the things that can happen with the women on the show is that they have a shitty attitude during all of these challenges, or they don't understand why they have to live like this, or they don't want to stop shopping. They don't treat their family members better. They just have bad attitudes, but she has risen to all of the challenges. She's had a great attitude, and I think she's done super well. I think the mom, if she talks like this to Gail, and Gail's giving her tough love, which she probably hasn't had before or in a long time. And the daughter is probably being talked to that way by the mom, like, you can't do it, you won't make it. And children can internalize that message and believe these things about themselves if they've been receiving these messages from their parents for a long time. And to me, it's very clear that mom has been enabling this behavior, has been enabling the way that she thinks, and has been trying to keep her at home. And I agree with Gail that I don't think that if Rachel stays at home, she is going to live an independent life.
It's too bad her mother couldn't see her daughter's potential.
So it was a positive experience for Rachel. For me, not really.
That's terrible. This is not about you. It's about her child. I think, or I hope, that she did go into therapy, because this is not okay. Parents' attitudes and parents' treatments towards their kids can have real impacts on their children from this relationship with her daughter and how she views her child and what she gets out of her child. Like, for her to say this wasn't a great experience for me, I think speaks volumes of the mom's attitude and viewing of the child. Because when you look at Rachel, her attitude and what she's accomplished, it's all great. It's kind of troubling to hear the mom see her daughter thriving and viewing that as a bad experience.
When I first met Rachel, she was a petulant princess who went shopping to escape from her overbearing parents. Over the past 4 weeks, I've had her move out on her own, create a budget, live on cash, set goals for her future, and learn to appreciate what she has. Have you seen a big change in Rachel?
Now she's kind of really taking this seriously and really considering what this is doing for her life. I think her mentality has changed, and I think that her kind of perceptions of money and shopping have changed.
I love Crystal.
Well, I've seen so much growth in her in the last 4 weeks. It's almost like she's gone from 17 to about 22. So let's see what Rachel has to say, okay, Crystal? Come on in, Rachel.
Hello.
How was your week?
I had a really busy week. I have 2 interviews this week, one this afternoon. And I actually got an email from the school board, which is a really good opportunity for me.
So do you think you've had a big change this 4 weeks?
Yeah, I do.
Your biggest problem is your parents. Not only do they enable you, but they actually encourage you to stay too young. They're always looking for ways to fight your battles for you.
When Gail was talking about my parents, it kind of hurt a little bit, because I know what my parents are doing for me is just to help me.
With me, I expected you to behave like an adult, and you did. Do you feel more in control of your life now than 4 weeks ago?
Yeah.
You've done phenomenally well.
Thank you.
I could not have asked for more from you as a participant on the show.
Thank you.
And the growth that you have shown me, I just want to encourage it with all my heart. Okay, so I have for you today a check for $5,000. Okay?
I'm glad Gail's proud of what I did, and I tried to do my best throughout this whole thing.
Okay, I have something else for you. I have for you a gift certificate so that you can go to the movies, not once or twice, maybe 5 or 6 times. Have a great time.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
Thank you.
Okay, give me a hug.
There we have it. I agree with Gail. I think she did an excellent job. She did so well. And I usually don't hear Gail talking so positively to participants before. Like, I want to encourage this with all my heart. I don't think I've heard her say anything like this with all the episodes that I've watched. And I think that, to me, this is Gail telling the participant what she needs to hear. Like, really trying to encourage her, because I think that Gail recognizes the problematic dynamic between or within this family. And she did well in this challenge. I do worry for her that she's going to go back home and then fall into the same patterns. In the end, she said that she was bothered when Gail said those things about her parents, because she knows it's her parents like providing the best for her. And I think it can be really easy for a child to take advantage of the situation. Like, if her mom wants to keep her at home and says, "Sweetie, we'll buy you a car. We'll do this for you and we'll do that for you." I think she still has remnants of those beliefs and those thoughts. But like, my parents just care for me and they just like want to buy me a car because they love me, kind of thing, opposed to seeing the potential damage the dynamic can have on her in the future. So I do worry about going back to this dynamic. And also, I think this experience could have threatened the mom. And now that the daughter, it seems like, is going to come back, she might just like cling onto the daughter with all of her life. After kind of seeing the episode, I agree with Gail that the biggest problem was the family dynamic. And I don't think that she has a shopping addiction. I think that there were life circumstances that, number one, like, she went to shopping as an emotional outlet. That in itself is not inherently the one and only factor you have shopping addiction. But I think that was causing a lot of her shopping strain, avoiding her parents or kind of getting out of that kind of overbearing atmosphere. And then also not working full time. I think both those things contributed. And she didn't seem to struggle with the budget and living on her own, which I think we would have seen if we would have cut off a shopping addict at the knees. So I think that if she does move out, then I think she could thrive, like, really well and truly. And I did look up or try to find some update on this. I couldn't find anything. So I'm just going to be hopeful that the daughter continued her progress in this situation as well. Like, the husband, he's silent. He's kind of said nothing. And I think that the daughter is receiving mixed messages. Dad's saying one thing, mom's not saying one thing. I think parents need to get on the same page. And I think, like, it can be really well and easy to be like, oh, it's all on the mom. Daddy, dearest, is also part of this dynamic. And his silence is also him being complicit. So that's the episode. Hope you enjoyed watching. And I also wanted kind of another positive one for this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments and we can perhaps bring more in a few weeks. If I do bring more, it'll probably be a little while from now and not in like a week or two. But I would love to make more, and I hope you enjoyed this video. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again around here soon.